Is that why people, I have never actually done that on YouTube. Is that why people sit
Yeah.
there, you stare at them for like a minute?
Couple minutes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's going, it tells me that it's going live. And as it's going live, you never know when it's going to start streaming. So we are definitely live. So welcome everybody. This is going live part of the PBK Fall Pop-Up Group. So we are glad that you are joining us. And today we are going to talk about how I lay out the website from the design standpoint, because anyone that's, Elise is nodding, anyone that builds a few pages, all of a sudden you're like, crap, where is it? Like, where did it go? I don't know where I'm keeping track of stuff. So I always will start with whiteboard. And as you guys have questions as we're going along, you know, you can jump right on in. There we go. There's whiteboard. So whenever you're doing anything, I will always start with what I call the North Pole to New York City framework, which is if I'm at the North Pole, how do I get people into my lead magnet, into my intro offer? And at New York City being, you know, everything in New York City, people are buying, they're spending money. So that is the basic framework that controls, honestly, every single sales funnel, business model, whatever you happen to have learned from. I guarantee you can plug it into one of these containers. And when we're building our sites, we have to, because North Pole is our read magnets. So this is obviously when we have visitors, and for many of us, this is our blog, it's our YouTube channel, our podcast, social media can end up over here. And then our lead magnet, that's when we have them opting in. And what I see so many people do is they just create opt-in after opt-in after opt-in after opt-in. And so they end up having all of these opt-ins all over the place. Like they can have, you know, 10 over here, which becomes very tricky to keep track of. And then when you actually want people to start buying, that's when our offers will come into place. So I just think of the intro offer as the first time someone buys, and then New York City as the second time that they buy. So when you're laying out your website, I always recommend start with pen and paper before you start going into any of the shiny object tools. But when we're ready to dive into the shiny object tools, my favorite one, and there is a free version that you can use, and that is Funnelytics. So let me pull up Funnelytics so that you guys can take a look at this. And what I like about Funnelytics is that when we're starting, can you guys see Funnelytics?
Yep.
Okay, cool. This is the program, and it lets you map stuff out so that you can see, because I don't know a single architect on the planet that just drives up to a piece of land and starts pouring concrete and throwing up walls and roofing, and they don't. They always start with a blueprint. And the reason that they can build a home or a building is because they have a blueprint. And our website is no different. It is our internet home. And if we build the structure well, then it will support our business as it's starting, and then also enable it to scale to whatever level it is that we want it to go. Funnelytics, like I said, has a free version, which is where I recommend everybody start, because you can make 3 maps. You really only need one. You don't need 3 different blueprints for your businesses. You just need one. So this version, let me walk you through it. But Elise and Rick, if you guys have questions, you know you can totally interrupt me. Right here where it says opt-in, let me get a little bit bigger. There we go. So here are referrals, Facebook, Google, Instagram, our website, any of this is our North Pole. So it's very easy. I can just click to add a step, which is why I like this program so much. And I'm just going to use, oh, let's see, what are the, click on miscellaneous, we'll find a good, oh, we could use this one for our website. So it might say print ad, but I can change that. So I can just put right in here, blog or website, like so. And then I can just take this connector and point it, right at the opt-in, just like that. So that's how you can add any of your traffic sources. And the key piece when you're putting your website together, especially as you are starting, there's what I would say to a business that's, been in operation for 10 years and you have established sales funnels and your conversion rates and you have just simply more experience, yours will grow and evolve. But when you're starting, you want to point everything to one front door. Think of your website as the front door to my home. I only have a single front door. I don't let new people come in through the garage or walk around, the backyard, the gate. They all come into the front door. So this is the opt-in lead magnet. That's where they're opting in. Keep that as a single point. You'll see above that, these are like the website pages. So we have our homepage, which in Kajabi, I definitely recommend use the standalone pages. We talked about that yesterday. If you want to catch that episode, it will be right above this on the playlist. The standalone page should have a way that they can easily opt in. So should every single other page. Now, you might accomplish this by using a header that says start here, or you might just put your opt-in form somewhere on each of these pages, whichever works for what you're trying to accomplish. But by seeing it laid out here, I can see, oh, here's my blog post. What do I want them to do on that blog post? Oh, I want them to opt in. Now they're on the work with me page. They might be looking there for curiosity's sake. If they aren't clicking offers to buy from me, where do I want them to go? To that front, get them on your list for sure. Same with the contact me page. We're constantly bringing them back to that second piece of the North Pole in New York City, which is our lead magnet. Any questions on the layout of that stuff so far?
Nope, that's all good. I love it.
So then this bottom piece, this is why I keep the website layout right next to the sales infrastructure. The whole point of the website is to make sales. Yes, we're educating. Yes, we're connecting. Yes, we're doing things, but that's our business. We want them to shop. So when you keep them disconnected, because it's digital, we're not walking into a physical store where we can see, oh yes, they came into the store. They can see what's for sale. They know where the display is. When it's digital, to me, it's almost like vapors, like we know it's there. I can log into my Kajabi site. I can see all my pages, but if I'm not looking at my blueprint, I might start building things because, oh, somebody talked about a new tool. Oh, I better go get that. Oh, somebody attended a great webinar. Oh, I should go build that thing. That's great. But as you listen to webinars, as you add tools, as you implement, you need to have a basic blueprint. The basic blueprint, when you learn something new, you have to tie it in. You have to go, oh, I learned this great, let's say, for instance, you decide you want to add a free challenge. So we're going to type in, we're just going to use a generic page because you would have them opting in. So you went, whatever, you bought a course, a friend told you, you listened to a podcast, you went to a webinar. We all know we come into ideas all over the place. But let's say we decide that we want to run a free challenge. That's obviously going to be at our lead magnet point. And so if we don't have a blueprint, it's too easy. You go into Kajabi, you click a button, all of a sudden you've got this free challenge and email sequences, and it just starts floating. You may be missing out on conversions. You may be inadvertently taking the power of what you were building, and now you've like opened up an off ramp. Like it looks like, oh, this will be a great way to bring people on board. But if it's not in the context of your website layout, your North Pole to New York City framework, how do you know? Like an architect doesn't just throw up an addition on the house. They look at what they currently have. They take into, okay, yes, we would like to add on, which we're doing at my home right now. Like the backyard is getting a massive renovation. But you look at each piece and you measure and you put it all together. Otherwise, we could end up with a mess. So this free challenge really is right here, right? That's my free challenge lead magnet. And if I'm a new business, I don't need to change my opt-in form, because look at all the things I already have hooked up. Look at all these blue arrows that are already pointing at this form. If I add something here, where do I attach it? In Kajabi, very easily, guess what? Instead of doing a new form and changing everything, we just say that this opt-in now equals the free challenge. So just like that, I've accomplished what I wanted to do, which is build my list. I want to run a free challenge. And instead of needing to add in all these, instead of taking this and now connecting, see, we want to connect things. See how it quickly turns into a massive, like crazy spider web? Not helpful. Not helpful at all. But because we have a blueprint and Funnelytics makes it easy, we can go, oh, I know how I plugged it in. Now this isn't floating anymore. Now my opt-in is here. The reason that becomes so incredibly important is when you're building your sales process, your sales funnels, once someone comes into the lead magnet, now we are using the power of Kajabi. We're using those email sequences. So in my verbiage, once someone comes into the lead magnet, they become a subscriber, I call that, and ES is just the abbreviation for email sequence, different from EB, which would be email broadcast. Welcome lead magnet. So this is the sequence that is onboarding people into your world. It also serves the purpose to get them to click and to go see the sales page of what you want to sell them. So I call this the intro offer. Other people will call it mini offers, tripwires. It's the first time you're vetting them as a buyer. So I call it the intro product. I also refer to it as a lily pad offer, meaning sometimes someone needs something to bounce on that's like a halfway point before they bounce to the larger thing that you want them to sell. So this infrastructure that you're looking at, if you're constantly changing it and your business is struggling, you're struggling with conversions, you're struggling to make sales, you're struggling to really scale up, if you're messing with this infrastructure, that likely is what is slowing you down. We want to keep the infrastructure. We want to build a really strong framework, just like if you were building a skyscraper or building a home, you're not constantly ripping out the foundation and starting over. So this laying out the website means, in the context of my website homepage, my about page, my blog post, I know exactly where I'm sending people. And as I learn something, then I can decide where I want to put it. Questions or ideas that have come up for you guys? Hi, Yehudit. How are ya?
Doing good. Just gonna stay muted most of the time because it's baking day around here as well. So we got a
Nice,
yeah, so
nice. You can totally stay on mute. We were just walking through the layout, but I can't see you guys when I have Funnelytics turned on. But any
I
questions
definitely
on that?
appreciate. Yeah, I definitely appreciate what you're doing with the Funnelytics, and it's really helping a lot. So
Oh, good.
I'll review what I didn't catch on the beginning of this as well. So thank you.
Perfect.
I had a
Perfect.
question about that. When you have your opt-in there, and then you have they submit the form, and then it's going over to the thank you
Mhm.
page. So should there be another arrow there from the thank you page down to the email sequence welcome lead magnet? Because isn't it in that email or that thank you page that you're directing them to what it is that they submitted for, right? So if they don't click on that in the thank you page,
Yep. So
then that
yeah,
starts.
the email, the welcome lead magnet sequence, once they like click the form, this gets automatically triggered. So
Right.
yeah, in here, if you want to refer them back to the thank you page, depending on what you put on that page, then yes, you can always link it back there. Some people will be like, yep, they just got on my list. So Jenna for Thunderbird Farm, there's the thank you page literally says, hey, thanks for signing up. There's no download, there's no free product, there's nothing. So yes, depending on what you place on this page, then as you're sending the emails, you can completely add the URL and send them right back to that page to watch the video, get the download, listen to the audio, whatever that might be, depending on the nature of what you put on the thank you page.
Right, but wouldn't the arrow be coming from the thank you page down to the welcome email, because the link that's in there, like if they don't click on the link that you put in the thank you page,
Mhm.
then wouldn't you want to start the email sequence to say, hey, you didn't open it yet?
That's triggered from the form submission. So the trigger for this email sequence has nothing to do with this page.
Got it. Okay.
Is entirely triggered by the automation attached to that form. When the form is submitted, then subscribe to email sequence welcome lead magnet. So that's why I don't put an arrow, like you're talking about this, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's nothing here to trigger them to the email. The email gets triggered from submitting the form. They don't even know that that happens. It's the automatically occurs. They see this thank you page. Oh, cool. That was great. Got my download. It told me to go to my email. If you're using free product strategy, it obviously is going to send them into the library. But in this email, let's say that the thank you page had the video that you wanted them to watch. Then, yes, you would take the email and link via the URL back to the page so that they could watch the video if they didn't watch it right after they subscribed.
Right. Okay.
So in terms of any other thoughts or ideas on Funnelytics, otherwise I thought I'd show you guys how I use it in tandem with Trello to keep track of like the copy and stuff. Good? Okay.
Good.
So this is our blueprint, but we obviously can't, if you typed everything on the blueprint, it would be ridiculous. And I know, because we've done home remodeling this summer, I've got the blueprint, but then I have the samples. Like I have the paint colors, I have the countertops, I have the floors, I have all these samples. To me, that's what gets put on the Trello board. So I made a skeleton version of this, which I'll put in the pop-up group. So this board is public. You guys can totally use it. This is how I keep track of where are my paint colors? What is the copy? What images do I want to use? What testimonials do I want to use? And the way you can do it is on the about page. You know, here you can add in your copy. So add in copy. This is what I want, you know, to do. You can also put in, so we can add in, oh, these are the pictures I want to use. So if I go on my computer, let's find my pictures here. Oh, just grab one of these. Where it's hiding. There we go. So there I can let it show, like if I want it to show here, I can, or I can remove it. I tend to remove it because otherwise, like it just gets too big for me. But Coach Jenny on her Trello board, she loves seeing her images. So she leaves the images showing. I tend, again, totally personal preference, but one, if you're working on your own, it keeps you organized. And two, if you have people helping you, you eliminate all of the back and forth. You have a one place where you're linking to, okay, this goes on the about page. This testimonial goes on this page, whatever it might be. This, you know, link to this offer, all of that comes right into Trello. You can put your deadlines, you can link to your offers. So I would do that. Get this here. You can add in the different pieces. And for me, this is how, like, oh, I used Benjamin Moore, you know, super gray in the living room. I used, you know, this flooring sample in the bedrooms. This allows you to keep track of and in complete conjunction with your blueprint. So you've got your blueprint. Okay, where are my pages? Putting those pieces together. Also keeping track, because as you can see on the blueprint, we're laying out our website, but our website infrastructure isn't just the pages. Yes, it's a website. Yes, it's an about page, possibly a blog, a work with me, a contact me, an events page. Like, yes, we see those pages. However, contextually, this is our infrastructure, because the whole point of having a blog, I want you to read it, I want you to opt in, and I want you to buy if what I have is going to solve your problem. So that's why I use the blueprint, and then I keep track of stuff in Trello. Questions, thoughts, ideas?
Well, I just think this is an awesome system. I've been using Trello, but with your assistance and watching how you put it together, along with, you know, this framework that on Funnelytics, it's like Rick said, it's blowing my mind and it's helping a lot.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
So am I.
Good. We like that. We like that. Because the other, yeah, Rick.
I was just going to say, just connecting the two tools together like you did, and using them in conjunction to organize stuff is just crazy. I mean, it's good. You got me using Trello, taking all my thoughts from these documents and spreadsheets and making it all in Trello. So I dump everything in there, but I didn't go to this next level. Like you're saying, you got the attachments, the links, and that's just pretty genius, because then you got you only really have that one main central place. Whereas my Google Drive, I have all these documents and spreadsheets, and I have to go search and find which one I saved what on. And if I didn't name it right, good luck.
Mhm. So true.
Good luck.
So true. Yep. I'm gonna write this in here.
I just got to go one step further into your color coding, and then I'll be really good.
One step at a time. One step at a time.
I'm trying.
Yep.
Then I got to remember why I use green for this and red for that. Oh no.
Yep. Right. It's true. Because the other layer, which obviously plays into all of this, is every business decision has a legal impact. We would like to keep them positive. So when you're layering in, you know, we've got to have legal, our privacy, our terms, our purchase terms, our disclaimers, all of those, we have to go, oh, that's where they are. Cool. Yep, it's in my footer. I made my footer in Kajabi. Now I know to go put it on the pages. And I don't tend to, like, we can move this up a little bit. This is why I love this program, because most people, in fact, Bambi just had this same question in the pop-up group where she's an established business, but she didn't have legal zipped up. You know, now she's zipping it up, which happens all the time. I mean, it's completely normal, very, very normal. So you go, okay, I didn't have all my legal, now I've listened to Tamsin, I realize, should probably turn that on. Crap, what do I do? Well, when you're looking at Funnelytics, and I'm gonna shrink it, so we're gonna have to zoom back out a little bit. I see the trees of the forest. Here, you go, okay, cool, I put my legal in place. Now, yep, I know it needs to show up on all of these pages, which means it's just gonna be in your footer. It's not like you're not linking to the page, but you are because it's in your footer. So now we can see it. Like if it wasn't in Funnelytics, to me, we've added something onto the house. So now our blueprint needs to expand. Not to mention, when you're working with people and your business grows, this is where most people get completely overwhelmed and stuck because they don't know where their pieces are. They just kept clicking buttons in Kajabi, like, oh, I'm going to click this, and oh, I'm going to click that. And suddenly you have this big mess, and you know you got to fix it to be able to grow and move forward. And then you have to hire someone to come in, you know, a strategist, a consultant, you know, Kajabi expert. This is all they're doing, really. And you can do it right from the beginning, which to me is so empowering as a business owner. Like it just makes so much sense. And Funnelytics keeps it simple. So now, you know, we've added on, we have our infrastructure. So our North Pole to New York City, which is right down here, starts with our read magnets, our visiting people. Then they opt in. Now we start nurturing them with our infrastructure. They buy our intro offer. We tell them thank you. We continue to nurture the relationship. They buy our New York City offer, which is usually a higher ticket. Not always. Some people have their $2,000 course as the first thing someone can buy. And then their New York City is an ongoing membership to support that. So it's not strictly dollar amounts, but you have to know what is the order you're having people buy. A question that often comes up is, well, what if someone just wants to buy New York City? Cool. If that's okay with you, if that works in your business model, you can always have people drop in. Where is it sale? I forget what the icons are called over here. You know what, let's just copy it. So we're just gonna copy this little dollar symbol right here. Duplicate, thank you, over here, right here. So let's say that somebody can just drop in. or what I like to say, they can come onto the North Pole to New York City. Yes, is an airplane. You'll hear me talk about this all the time. So this is they can kind of drop in. There's like an on-ramp if we pictured it like instead of a runway, it being a freeway. So this is other entry point for New York City. So second time someone is typically buying can become the first time for someone else. And it's up to you as the business owner whether you want to make this on-ramp. But if you decide, yeah, you know what? Somebody came across your path and they're like, look, I just want to hire you, for a one-on-one. I want to join your mastermind. You don't have to send them all the way back here and say, you need to opt in and you need to do this. And if you've thought it through, which again, when you have a blueprint, you're keeping track of what you're doing. You see where it fits in your business. Oh, you know what? Yes, somebody can enter right here because this page has a URL. I can send you the URL, but I'm going to keep track of it on the blueprint. I'm not just going to randomly send people links without having thought it through. So you can let people drop in. You can also say, nope, my runway, this is how it works. I'm not going to let you drop in. And you'll have your business reasons why you make that decision. Questions on any of that? Oh, sorry, I'm zooming all over.
Go with your question. I was just going to make a statement.
My question was when they come in and they purchase your course, so they're in your course, and if that's over several weekends, and you wouldn't necessarily want to take them right into your membership, even though you know that you have a membership that you want to offer them. So would you, at the sales intro part, if that's what we're choosing, come in, hey, we're offering a course, here's your course, get in. Now we're meeting a couple of weeks. And then maybe the second time that we're meeting, we're starting to plant the seed that we're going to offer a membership at the end because we're teaching you so much stuff that you may feel like, wow, what do I do when I'm done with the course and I have more questions?
Mm-hmm.
So would these email sequences be appropriate if they're already in your course, or would you shift them over a little bit to nurture them? I guess you could time this out then when you would want to start nurturing them toward the membership.
Yes. And that's where, when you have your blueprint, when you're looking at your framework and you say, okay, cool, they bought my course, which is sales intro. And once they buy it, they get my buyer emails. So my onboarding for whatever it is they purchased. This line right here, this arrow that, basically your welcome New York City would be, I'm introducing you to the membership. Like, this is the next stage. This is where we're going. You work out what the time is for these pieces being connected. So if someone buys and okay, it's an 8-week course, 6 weeks into it, and you want to automate it, because you can always do email broadcasts to the people that are in your course. And you're like, yep, it's week 6. I want to send out some broadcasts letting you know about New York City. You can absolutely do that. But you say, nope, that can be automated. We can totally leverage Kajabi for that piece. This welcome New York, for the people that purchased, that first email sends on day 42. So instead of that sequence sending on day 0 or day 1, when they purchase, so right here, they're on the offer checkout page. We add the automation. When the offer is purchased, we're going to subscribe them to this sequence, but the sequence doesn't send until day 42. So when you can see your runways and your infrastructures, then yes, you work out the timing and you decide where you want to send people, when you want to send them there. Does that answer your question?
Right. So it would be on that email sequence buyer intro email sequence is where you would then tell it what days to send it out. You know, how many days, you'd have to figure out how many days that, so it's only days, right? Versus, okay.
Yep. And it's days from when the offer was purchased. So what might be for myself, I don't turn on automations except for very basic ones. When they involve timing based on people purchasing and all kinds of varying factors, I stick with basic manual until I know I've worked out all the kinks. Because the more you automate it, which is automation's fantastic. I mean, I automate honestly everything, but I do it once I know, oh, yep, we want this to go at this time and it's not going to break, because if we do it too soon, instead of scaling success, we scale a mess. So what I can do is I can say, okay, here's these buyers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do an email broadcast. I'm going to introduce the membership, which is my NYC offer. So this is an extension of here, but it's a broadcast. So you're determining when it sends. It's not gonna, there's no automation part. And here, it's gonna take them straight to see the sales page. So in what you're describing, this line could go away. Those are not connected pieces for people that purchase that course.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you stay in control of when are we introducing this offer to people over here, because in your situation, you have cohorts of people. You have a group coming through a course, they're coming together. Yep, we want that to send. When this is evergreen, it's an evergreen course, so people are joining 365 days a year. I would probably say you're going to work out the timing so that the sequences are starting, you bought the membership or you bought the course 42 days later, the 6 weeks of the 8 weeks. Yes, now I'm going to introduce the membership to you, because that I wouldn't want to do by broadcasts. But in your case, because I know it's a cohort, I would maintain manual control. You can even schedule them. You know, you can write the broadcast and put it in to send on a specific day. So it keeps the control in your wheelhouse. And then, yes, you just send them right to the sales page, and the infrastructure that you've put in place to get them to buy the membership, those automations would take over and do the heavy lifting.
Okay. And then one other component of that is we also offer an advanced course to the students that just took the intro course.
Mm-hmm.
So we really actually have two choices that we could give them for our next move. So, because not everybody, you know, like we only had 2 people that got into the membership, but other people were asking, when are you offering your advanced course? So would that just be a whole separate thing, whole nother email broadcast specific to sending them there? And then that has a sequence to,
And this is why we have our flight plans. So let's say this is the second. Okay, so I can buy an advanced course, and if I'm adding in the infrastructure, we're going to put in email sales NYC. And you don't have to always have all of these infrastructures built out of the gate. You do not by any stretch of the imagination. But when people are saying, oh, you know, my sales funnel, this is the part, if you want to automate things and get it. Just a second, I can't. There it is, purchase. That's what it's called over here. This piece, which once you've run things a few times, this is when you put your infrastructure in place. And when people say, oh, you make money while you sleep, this is the part they're talking about, is this infrastructure part. But as you can tell, it's not always, it's not just one click of a button, it's a few clicks and a few infrastructures. But when I build it in something like a Funnelytics, now I can see where it fits and why, if I offer it, we'll get these all connected in just a second. But I'm hoping you guys can see how easy it is to add these things. And the cool part that I really like is it forces you to keep stuff connected. So it really saves us from ourselves in terms of, oh yeah, I made that. Where did it go? What did I do with it? So here's our advanced course. Once they've seen the sales page, our sales sequence is nurturing them to buy it. If they don't buy, they go to the nurture sales. Again, we're trying to get them to buy. So both of these are connected to the offer checkout page. When they purchase, they see the thank you page. When they, it's not triggered, hold on. It's not triggered by the thank you page, but we'll put it here. Then they get their buyer email sequence because they bought the advanced course. So in your situation right here, are they getting the choice of either the membership or the advanced course?
Both.
Both? Okay.
Mhm.
So right here, you just say introduce, choice, membership or advanced course, or both.
Mhm.
Okay, yep. So now here, they can go down either railroad track. So in that email, we'll kind of move this down to give ourselves some more room. Which is, again, what I love, it keeps everything connected. Now, in that email, if I'm interested in the membership, when I click to see the sales page, and again, we're going to use Kajabi automations so that when the link is clicked and we put the sales page link in there, then subscribe to the email sequence, because that's going to do our heavy lifting for us so that we don't have to forget, oh, that's right, I needed to tell that person more details. That goes out. So if they were interested in the membership, that they're moving through that part of North Pole to New York City. And in that same email, if they are also interested in the advanced course, separate automation, when the link is clicked, URL for the sales page, Kajabi again takes over and moves them forward. So that's how I would set that up.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So now if we zoom out, again, everything gets really tiny. Now we can see the business we're building. Like it's not, we're laying out a website, yes, but the purpose of that website isn't just to sit there and look pretty. You know, I don't know anybody that's like, oh, I bought Kajabi just so I could have a website that just sits there and looks pretty. No, we want them to be pretty, but I don't want it to just sit there and look pretty. I want it to make money. I want it to make an impact. I want it to do something. And here we can start to see the pieces. And this is where, as the business grows, as you like, oh, well, now we have an advanced course. Okay, well, after the advanced course, you'll probably have something else. If you keep putting it together in the context of where can people go, now we'll go back up here. So let's say in your business, yes, they can opt in if they were to click on the work with me page. Yes, if you're not on our list, please get on our list. But if they can just go ahead and buy things, now I can take that link and send it straight to the sales page. And if it's like, you know what, they could buy the intro offer, or they're fine if they just want to buy over here, I'm fine with that. Cool. Now, oh, it doesn't like me to connect there. Here we go. This is where the spider web portion either tangles people up and ends up suffocating their business because it's a disaster and they don't know it, or it becomes a really amazing, well-buried steel frame business that, you know, scales and goes crazy because it's so strong. So other questions you guys have? Nothing?
So on the work with me page, that even though you would offer more than one service, in this scenario, you're really focusing on one thing that you're going to start with to introduce them to who you are and get them to buy your product. And then from there, it may be a little advanced question, but just at the end of the New York City and they've gone through your offer and everything, then how would you, then you, when you start another flight plan, you do it the same way. And then now you have them on your email list that you can, you know, reintroduce, hey, I've got more things that I have to offer you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. When you have it, which you've heard me talk about all the time, initially, yes, we're building a single airline strip runway, North Pole to New York City. Where am I taking people? I have to know that as a business owner, but that single runway for one business might stay, like, you know, the local county airport with just one runway. But what often happens is you end up building O'Hare. You end up having, okay, I don't even know how many runways O'Hare has, but when it's mapped out, when this is, you have your blueprint, you've laid out your website, you know, in the context of, okay, this is where my blog is, but this is where the blog fits into the business. It doesn't just sit there and look pretty. Now our planes aren't crashing. You know, I mean, if O'Hare didn't lay things out and didn't have a schedule, yes, United comes in at 12:02, Delta comes in at 12:05. If we don't have a plan, it's like, oh, sure, just land whenever. Where do you want to go? Sure. They'd be on the news every night for disastrous accidents, which, you know me, I love my metaphors. So this is to build your O'Hare or whatever you want to build in such a way that it is sustainable, it is solid, it is scalable. You can pour as much traffic through it as you want. And the amazing part that I love about Funnelytics is as your business grows, you can turn on, you'll see up here, it says numbers. It'll say activate the numbers layer. You put your URL for these pages into Funnelytics, it keeps track of your traffic. Like, you can suddenly see, oh, look at that. We had 3,000 people come and go to the opt-in. We sold 500 of this. We sold 572 of this. So you can really predict and see exactly where are the traffic patterns, where are, you know, our peak offers. Oh, look at that. We built a whole runway and we've had 2 people go through. So let's see, did we not hook up something well? Is our messaging off? Is it the wrong offer? And then, but again, that's, you know,
Can you
great analytics at that point.
Can you expand on that, where you would put your URL in Funnel?
Right here. So if you click on the page, it says, it opens up this little box, and right here, you just put in the URL. You can write in some notes, you can put in pictures, you can put in links.
Wow, I didn't know all that. That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Yeah, it has mapping, it has forecasting, it is, like I said, it's sheer genius in my opinion.
Mhm.
And you go, okay, cool. You can store everything here. I don't store, I put the URLs in. I don't store everything here. I store it in Trello. It's easier for me to see it in Trello, to use it in Trello, to update it, to label it, to share with other people. That to me is easier. But again, one person's favorite tool is another person's disaster. So, you know, use the tool that you like the best and that works for you. I couldn't use Asana if somebody paid me well, if they paid me $1 million, I might somehow figure the darn thing out. But I for everyone that loves Asana, I'm sorry. I cannot figure out that tool, and I have tried my darndest. Can't get it. But anything else? Otherwise, we will wrap it up for today. And this, anybody wants like this, what do you call this? Funnelytics piece. All the links are inside the pop-up group. They're inside the Kajabi free resource library. I don't hold anything back. You're more than welcome to grab the template and the link. Once you have a free Funnelytics account, you can just upload this template in there if you want it as a reference point. You don't have to like watch the video, pause, build, watch the video, pause, build. So it's either if you're in the pop-up group already, it's there. Otherwise, it's always in the free resource library.
Yeah, that last bit of information would have been good 2 months ago. I did not realize you could do that. And I was sitting there I was pausing. I was like, okay, I got my basics. I understand it. I know what I'm kind of laying out, but I was pausing, adding your stuff in to match it all up. And then I realized, oh, wait, you can just, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
It was like hours into it. I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. Why am I doing this?
Yep.
And I think you say it on one of the videos after or before, and I had skipped it.
You skipped.
Yeah.
Don't skip. I promise I do things in order for a reason.
Yes.
But people like to skip around. I know my husband skips around. He's like, I don't want to, no, just where do I need to go? I'm like, dude, you gotta like, there's a reason. Like there is a method to the madness. There really is. It's not just like, oh, this is fun. I think I'll make people do 1,000 steps. It really isn't.
Yeah, you recall a couple months ago, that's how I would send my emails. I would be like, hey, I got a question. And I'd be like, oh, you sent me a link to the one that I didn't watch. Okay. I didn't remember.
Okay.
Never mind.
It's okay. You stay with me, Rick. I'll keep you on the straight and narrow.
We're good. We're good. We're good.
We're good.
Well, I tried to build on Funnelytics and a couple other different programs that came out. I've been wanting this visual for several years, and actually asked my VA that I was working with for a couple of years, you know, how do we lay this out? Because I'm so visual and I need to see it. And, you know, in my mind, or even on my scratch paper, I could put, okay, well, here's this and all my social media and all that. And then I got overwhelmed. And when I saw this layout that you sent me yesterday, and I could just copy it and open it up in my Funnelytics, I was like, oh boy, you know, this has just saved me a whole bunch of time and frustration. Seriously.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I have fun building it, and I might even have more fun when I get to teach it, because it saves so much time, and more importantly, it keeps everything focused on, okay, why are we putting that page on the website? Is it going to sit there and just look pretty? Because if that's the case, why are we building it? Like, oh, okay, now let's link it. Like, where are they going from here? Yes, they read about you. Let's make that so that they can opt in. Let's make it so they can buy something. Like, you know, looking pretty is, it looks good, but it needs to work. Like, it's got to earn its keep, in my opinion. So this helps me keep it all straight from myself, and also straight when I'm helping you guys.
Well, you do both very well.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoy it. It's my sheer, I totally, Elise knows and Rick knows, I geek out on this stuff.
Well,
Completely.
that's obvious. I mean, I found you on YouTube. So I'd been looking for years on YouTube to find somebody that was really knew how to use Kajabi. And it was a bit of a desert. But then a couple months ago, I found you, I guess because of your spring, what you did in
Oh,
the
yeah.
spring.
Yep.
And so it was like, oh my God, you know, the one-to-one to using Acuity. Yeah, I have Acuity. Yeah, that's what I want to start with, one-to-one. So I went through all of your videos on that, and
Yep.
I've set it up. But this part here, where we're now, you know, I'm building the website, and we need to get to the offer, to my offer. This is what I'm working on over this next couple weeks to get it all pulled together so I can actually have a website and
Perfect.
and a North Pole in New York City.
Telling you, North Pole to New York City is just, it solves everything. Like, it gives you the buckets, which I didn't start by calling it North Pole to New York City. It just ended up one day I was teaching and those words came out of my mouth and they stuck. But it really gives us all the same language. You know, we can all now communicate, because if someone is asking me, well, what should I do, you know, for my one-on-ones? I can say, well, is that one-on-one something they're buying from you is that a first time purchase, or is it a second time purchase? And people are like, oh, yeah, that's the second thing that they buy. I'm like, okay, that's your New York City offer. What can they buy before that? So when we're all coming from so many different places that we've learned from and absorbed and done, it's like we're trying to communicate, but we're still not speaking the same language. So North Pole in New York City just goes, oh, look at that. We now all can speak the same language and realize that, oh, well, yeah, that's my intro offer. So it really, it solved so many problems. Can't even tell you how many problems it solved. You're like, oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, let's see where that fits, and let's see how do we build it to get to the next step. And instead of, you know, one person speaking French and German and Spanish, and we're all looking at each other going, uh-huh, uh-huh. I have no idea what you're saying to me. Uh-huh, uh-huh. No, that was a productive call. See you later. Yeah, like, that's nice. Like, I'll politely smile at you, but I have no clue what you're telling me you built. No idea.
They're going somewhere. They just don't know where.
I'm like, we all have read magnets. We all have lead magnets. We all have something that people can buy the first time. We have a second time. We have, you know, often a third time. Oh, North Pole to New York City. There we go. Lay it out. Now other people can talk and contribute and brainstorm and problem solve and share ideas in a way that we just couldn't before, even though we were all talking about read magnets and lead magnets, but other people call them different things. So, all righty. Well, I will have the recording up shortly for you guys. Thank you. This was a lot of fun. And if you have any, you know, questions that you want to do specifically, I'm getting next week's trainings lined up. So just let me know what you want to talk about and we will add it in.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. You guys have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.